Greetings from home, dear ones. Today is a magical day. This is an incredible gathering of spirits in many more ways than you might think, especially at first. So today we'd like to take you on a little bit of a journey, a little bit into the future of the new earth, the incredible energy which all of you have been waiting for. You've anticipated it. All of you have known that this was coming. You've known that you've stepped clearly into the fifth dimension. You also know there's no returning into the third. But let me explain what is taking place on the larger perspective. You understand, dear ones, that everything is a wave. It's a wave of energy, and much like the waves of the water in your oceans, they ebb and they tide. They move forward and they move backwards. But unlike the balancing energy of the water in your oceans, your advancement moves forward and moves a little back. You have typically, as all of humanity, you are accustomed to taking 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. In those 2 steps, you doubt yourself, you question yourself, you wonder what you are doing wrong, when in fact it's just a wave. So first, we ask you to enlighten up. Relax a bit. You're playing this game of pretending to be a human, and quite honestly, you're doing very well. So you need to know that first. But above all, know that where you are moving as a collective, that is huge. That is what we watch from this side of the veil. We cheer you on at times when you do not think that you're being successful. We applaud you at times that you think you have failed. And we tell you, pat you on the back at times, many times, when you take a step backwards. So what is this about? Well, the biggest challenge that we see that we can share with you, dear ones, is the fact that many times you judge yourselves. That is where the steps backwards take 2 steps instead of 1. You understand that you are creator beings, playing this game of pretending to be a human. And you have this magnanimous veil in front of you that keeps you from remembering your true nature and where you come from and what you had in mind when you came to planet Earth. Well, now that veil is thinning by your own design and by your collective steps forward into evolution. And as you do, it will be entirely possible to change the wave to where you can take 3 steps forward and maybe only 1 step or a half a step back in order to catch your breath and move forward into the next energies. There are many things on Earth, dear ones, that are changing at a new pace, a new clip. There's a new energy taking place in all areas of planet Earth. And we wish to share with you, because many of you cannot see your reflection in the same way. You've moved from the old world to the new world, and you're trying to see the same reflection that you saw over here. Those things that marked your success, that allowed you to see your connection, are sometimes not visible in the same way in the higher vibrations of the new planet Earth. But this day it is changing. And we want you all to understand that it is easier to achieve abundance now than ever before. We know it is difficult for many of you. We see the games that you have played with your economics globally. We see the different parts that you have tried to put together for yourself so that you could mark your success on a ladder. We know that sometimes many of you have had to rethink and reinvent yourselves in all new ways. But dear ones, you are magic. You are magic beyond your description, beyond your understanding. And these are the new earth. This is the new energy which you are stepping into. As you enter this beautiful area, one of your seasons that you call summer, oh yes, part of your world is entering their part of their seasons that they call winter. And it truly makes no difference, because it is the seasonal change that allows you to step forward, breathe new air, and gain confidence in a whole new way. Dear ones, if there was one thing that we could give you above everything else, it would be to help you remember the confidence of your spirit. It is what we call spiritual confidence. And if you have even the smallest amount of that as you are playing your game on planet Earth, it becomes beautiful. It becomes a game of creation. It becomes fun. And this is what you wanted to do when you came to Earth. You came here, many of you came here with great desires to help the planet change. And very many of you actually had enough energy to move on to other connections, but you came back to Earth this time. You wanted to be here for this huge collective shift into the new energy. And here you are. But dear ones, do not ever forget that there are billions of souls on the other side, all waiting to come in, and many of them to planet Earth. But they stepped aside for you. That is the beauty of home that you will remember soon, because you've stepped into this whole new world, this whole fifth dimension, as you call it. But you're still applying three-dimensional rules. You're still expecting things to work in a three-dimensional way. Dear ones, the duality is gone. And yet you still see things as right or wrong, up and down, black and white, love or fear. They do not exist. It is a beautiful circle. And we can tell you there is no black and white. Everything is a shade of gray. And we tell you that you carry in your hearts the energy from home. Not only that, but you are being applauded for your incredible work by these billions of souls that stepped aside so that you could have this incarnation on planet Earth. You are their hero, dear ones. And if nothing more, that we ask you during this next month, this month of transition, this month of easement, that you remember that. And that you stop every once in a while and take a deep breath. Do that now. And release. Can you feel them at your back? Can you feel them patting you on the back? Can you feel them hugging you? Always out of your sight, for they agreed not to be seen. You are, after all, on the planet of free choice, and they will help you play your game by not interfering. But they are there, dear ones, and if you stop long enough, you will feel that little breath of spiritual confidence returning. You've come in mass, and those of you that we call the E family have come in at a very critical time here on planet Earth to make a difference as a collective. And that is beautiful. Yes, we know that you turn on your televisions and you watch all the discord taking place in planet Earth. All this country is taking to the streets, and so is this country, and so is this, and here's this war over here. Those are the three-dimensional ways that you are still trying to work in the fifth dimension. And they are not wrong, dear ones, because they are changing. But watch now, as the evolution starts to take place. Because it was necessary to take to the streets for your voices to be heard by the collective. Not necessarily against those that you have been demonstrating against, but by everyone everywhere. With the advances in your technology now, and also with the advances of the heart that every human has now made, it is possible to start connecting in new ways. These are the times of the empowered human. You are entering the age of E, the age of empowerment. And we will help you. Remember, we are not here to teach you, We are not here to tell you the path of least resistance in all areas, for sometimes you decided to take all of these incredible turns so that you could learn something, or you could pick up this over here, or that you could touch another soul over here. Understand, dear ones, that no matter what your path looks like, you're doing well. You know, it was not that long ago that the keeper's father, he was a boat broker, and he used to take his family and the keeper on boats all of the time. And one of the interesting things is many times there was a big yacht, and the keeper used to get to drive the yacht. Well, his father would always laugh at him because he'd say, "You're swerving all over the ocean." And he would say, "No, I'm not." And he would say, "Look behind you." And sure enough, there would be this huge S that he didn't even know he was making. Well, dear ones, when you look behind you and you see all those curves in your life that you have been changing and been going through, know that they are as you planned out. This is what you decided to do when you came to Earth. This is why those billion or so souls stepped aside so that you could be here right now. The Earth is reaching a critical mass in several areas. And we wish to speak of that here today, to let you know a little of what is ahead and the beauty that lies before you. Yes, of course, there will be some turmoil. Yes, of course, there will be some darkness. You still live in a field of triality, and shadows can still exist. Lack of light. But that is all they are. You can also look at them as an opportunity for light, which is truly what you came to Earth to do. So understand that as you step forward, things are liable to change a bit. This is where you lose your confidence, your spiritual confidence. But this is where we can come in, not just us, but all those beings on the other side that stepped aside. You are their hero. If you can only feel that for just a moment, you'll gain the confidence you need to step forward, to make the difference, and to bring your ray of light to Earth in the way that you hope to do. Now is the time. So first, we ask you to please, when you feel that sense of urgency, know that it is not just you. Sometimes you are so concerned about your ego and what you are doing from a place of ego that sometimes you can't feel all the nudges that we give you from the other side. So for a time, put that aside. Put your judgments aside. It is the judgments many times, dear ones, that make you stay in a field of duality. But you have clearly stepped into the new world. And that is very similar to many of the advances that you've made before, where you had difficulty grounding in the new world. But now you have something magical. You have the collective vibration of all of humanity. And that is starting to gel. And this is part of the reason that you see people taking to the streets in many countries. This is part of the reason that you're starting to see possibilities, new reflections of light, new creative energies here, and new understandings about things that you had always believed. And when you live in a field of duality, dear ones, it is like a straight line. And you can see things as dark or as light, as love, as fear, as up and down, as right and wrong. But now you are moving into this beautiful field of triality, where you have a new connection to your own higher self. And that allows you to have a whole new vision of your experience on Earth, a whole new vision of your life, your purpose for being here, and the greatness of who you are. We ask you also, dear ones, to own your mastery. With your egos, you have it both ways. You have been so concerned about carrying your egos that you've tried to deny your egos, your sense of self, and focus on the collective rather than just you. But that also means that all those beautiful things that you have mastered, you have denied. It is perfectly fine to own your mastery. For each finger on the hand has a different role, does it not? Each one does something better. And when they work in harmony, that is the magic. But they only work in harmony when each one owns their own mastery. These are the things to remember as you step into this new world. You are still grounding so much. But we tell you, even though you often feel lost here, you have moved faster than we ever thought you would move. This is the reason that we are so positive in our message to you. And we tell you that everything is wonderful and moving to the next level, and you look at your news and the events happening in your planet, and you say, oh, we are surely moving backwards. No, dear ones, it's just the wave. It's just the normal wave of energy. If you run down the street, there comes a time where you have to slow down and catch your breath. These are the waves of energy that are moving through all of you. And we also tell you the earth herself, as we have spoken many times, is also going through these waves of energy. We have spoken recently that there was quite a buildup on the tectonic plates themselves, and that many times the stress that the earth has been feeling as this pressure has been building up, of course it can be released in an earthquake. Of course it can be released in an eruption of volcanic activity. There are many ways that can happen, but while the pressure is building, you pick it up in your emotional systems. It makes you incredibly sensitive to everything that's around there. And we tell you we are all working on this side of the veil for the earth to make smooth transitions and to start releasing this energy more comfortably than she has in the past. But there are still great possibilities of some of these tectonic plate slips that you call earthquakes. So if they happen, dear ones, celebrate them. Of course you have to help each other pick up the pieces, put your lives back in order, and make things work for you. But celebrate the advancement of planet Earth, because it simply means she took a step back and is ready to move forward again. Like the waves of energy and the evolution that you all experience in these beautiful waves. You'll understand much more of that as you go forward. Many of you, dear ones, are teachers and healers on this planet. So many of you feel that deep in your heart, but you say, I have no students. No one is listening. No one comes to me. Do not let that stop you. That is only one of the setbacks of the wave. Step forward and own your mastery. You brought a very unique ray of light into this planet. And the earth herself is now starting to find a calmness that will help. There are many changes coming up ahead, dear ones. Many things that are taking place. You have not seen many of the comets recently, but you will. You'll see more. You'll see more of what you call the asteroids. You'll see more of the comets. You'll see more of these entrances from what you call outer space or the Kuiper Belt. But in truth, these are seeds of life that are being planted on the new earth, that are carrying the incredible parts that all of you can use. Understand that the earth is going through a major transition. The new hologram is overlaid the original hologram of earth. And this is the acclimation period. These are the times that all of you can awaken from the dream and listen to your own spirit. Dear ones, all of you have an incredible guidance system over your shoulder. Because of your egos, because of your living in a field of polarity and seeing one thing over the other, many of you cannot listen to our message for the simple reason that your mind is going a mile a minute. Who is talking? What is that? Where is this coming from? All of your analyzation and your mental abilities sometimes is actually a step back. But on planet Earth, you are also seeing an incredible meld of spirituality and science. The physics and the metaphysics all coming together at one. That is magical, because it's almost as if you've asked the veil to be pulled aside so that you could see the inner workings of the truth, not only of planet Earth, but of you, your own experience. You've had many incarnations on Earth, dear ones, not all of them in a physical body, the way that you think. For Earth has been here much longer than the physical beings. This is only one aspect of your life ranges. You have all cared about planet Earth tremendously, and many of you were there when she was born as a hot ball of gaseous material. You cheered it on. And here you are back, now carrying one of these dense physical bodies to take it to the next level. Not just planet Earth, but your dense bodies as well. All of it is changing. You are becoming crystalline in nature. And this is taking place over a fairly long period of time for most of you, but of course you can do things to speed that up. But understand that your physical being is going through changes as well, so that you can carry more of your own light, very simply. When you are home, there is no density at all. You are nothing but light, but you are personality. You carry the same personality you carry in those physical bodies. And you are a joy to watch, because you're a unique part of God. You're a unique part of the whole. And even though it hasn't always been accepted, dear ones, now is the time to let that be seen. Now, does it make any difference how many people see you? How many people watch you? Does it make any difference if anyone sees that? No, dear ones, it doesn't. Because what takes place is you start carrying that energy. And it comes out of you every time you smile, every time you laugh, every time you make a word. And even if no one hears it, it is a vibration in the universe. And that magic not only helps to change planet Earth, but it also sets up your future. It sets up the potentials of what you have come to do and how you can do it. So these are very magical times, dear ones, and over the next 3 to 4 months, you are going to have opportunities to set up a new world for yourselves. It will take a little time for you to step fully into, but do so by owning your mastery, owning who you are. Even if your ego says, oh, I'm not that great, I'm not that wonderful, there are others that do this better than I. Of course there are in their area, but no one carries your vibration except you. Keep in mind that you are this beautiful piece of carbon. Most of your world is made up of carbon-based material. But what happens to carbon when it is compressed over eons of time? It turns crystalline. It turns into this beautiful diamond. The same way you are. You are becoming crystalline in nature. And your physical beings will actually carry some of that energy which your medical sciences will actually identify as a crystalline structure in the very near future. You are holding it in your energy, and you are God. Therefore, you are creating your world around you. You woke up this morning expecting to have exactly the same situation you had when you went to sleep. What if you woke up and expected something different? What if you woke up and you couldn't wait to walk outside and see how this day was going to be unique? Try that on, dear ones. And you'll start to see how you can create your own energy in your world around you by holding excitement and love and knowing and owning your mastery. It doesn't mean that you are the best at everything. It means that you carried a unique ray of light. And as all of beings everywhere are now putting together this beautiful new game for you. You have the opportunities to step into a world of empowerment in a whole new way. Are you ready to take that step? There is only one thing we wish to help you with here today. Besides owning your mastery and knowing a little bit of your spiritual confidence. And that is to remind you of something we have spoken of that will become very helpful over the next weeks and months. And that is that there is a balance to power. And the balance to power is very clearly responsibility. It's very simple. If you have an area of your life which you would like to increase your power in, find the ways to increase your responsibility. And suddenly you will get lucky. Just like the keeper's keeper. And you can make magic happen only if you own it and allow it to flow through you. The challenge about many egos on planet Earth, dear ones, is that you've learned that the ego can stop you in your tracks when you try to advance. But we tell you, many of you are so afraid that you have puffed your ego up too big, that you are afraid to stand up and speak your truth. And you are robbing not only yourself, but everyone around you when that happens. It's time for all of us, everyone on earth especially, to own who you are, to step forward, to speak your truth in a way that allows other truths to stand next to you, even if they seemingly disagree with you. For dear ones, all of you hold a little piece of heaven on earth. All of you hold a little piece of the future of humanity. And if you are allowed to come together and each bring your own piece to the table, even if it's not the brightest, and even if your voice is not the loudest, that is the time that you are in. The opportunity to step forward and make a huge difference here on planet Earth. You have come forward in the most beautiful ways. And those of you that we call the E family have incarnated over and over and over again as a collective group. Not to come together, not to meet each other necessarily, even though you have done so, but you've come to hold this beautiful vibration. Because what happens is you can only evolve so far until you honor the rights of each other. These are the times that you do. And understand that by holding your spiritual confidence and speaking your truth, even though there may be those around you that disagree, that is evolution. That is empowerment. That is the age of E. Welcome home, dear ones. You are creating it right where you stand. And we could not be prouder to be a part of it in some small way. There is a time where you can all stretch out and reach into a new world, and it is right now. Take this, encourage each other. Muster up the courage for you to stand up and speak your truth, even if it be in a small way. And know that you do not have to have the loudest voice, and you don't always have to be right according to everyone else. Speak what is in your heart and allow it to evolve. That is the nature of humanity. Many of you have tuned in to listen to this channel, as the Keeper calls it. You are aware that all of you have these capabilities. Many of you have not learned to listen or to translate in quite the same ways. But all of you have access to home through your own heart. If you will allow it, and if you speak it out loud, that is very helpful. Even if you shout it into the woods where no one can hear you, it sets up a vibrational pattern around you, which even affects your own cells in your body. These are the next steps of conscious creators. in humanity on planet Earth. Dear ones, it is the greatest of honor that we get to reach you at these very critical times of your advancement on planet Earth. It is also a joy to be with you. We ask you to treat each other with respect. Nurture one another every chance you have, like the hands on the fingers of the same hand. And play well together on the new earth. Aspavo, dear ones.
Aspavo. Such a beautiful message. Take a moment and just breathe it in. Absorb the words that were given by the group and Steve. A very important message. Walk in confidence. See yourself as you want others to see you. That's the way we can live our lives fully